In 2 months, it'll have been 5 years since Nintendo announced that Retro would be taking over development of Metroid Prime 4. 7 years since the game was announced. That's crazy. Let's talk about it. Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games. Today, I want to talk about the mysterious case of Metroid Prime 4, talk about what I think is going on with its development, when I think it will release, and also I have some potentially exclusive little information to show and talk about at the end of the video, although I might just be insane, so take that with a grain of salt. Metroid Prime 4 is really weird. You know, I think for most people online, at this point, we've all kind of just assumed it'll be a Switch 2 game or, next-gen Switch game, maybe be cross-gen. I still lean towards it being a Switch 1 exclusive, just because, taking Nintendo at face value, that's what they've said. It's a Switch 1 game, and they haven't said anything about it coming to any other consoles, obviously, because there is no other console announced, right? So I think bare minimum, at the very least, it'll come to Switch 1. Maybe it'll come to Switch 2 with a patch or a 4K update or something version later on, but I would say Switch 1 is guaranteed. And the thing is, with Metroid Prime 4, I've been predicting this game to be shown in a Nintendo Direct for every Nintendo Direct for the past, 5 years. It was announced in 2017 at the E3 Spotlight 2017, where they announced, Pokemon's coming to Switch, Yoshi, Kirby, Star Allies, all that stuff, right? And I thought, okay, well, this will probably come out 2019. That's pretty far off for a Nintendo game. And here we are, 7 years later and nothing. At that point, it was believed to be developed by Bandai Namco. But then in 2019, Nintendo put out this video saying, hey, we're going to restart development. Retro Studios is going to take over, the original developers of the original Metroid Prime trilogy. They're going to do it, and they're going to do it right. And sorry about this, but it's going to take a while. And it's now been almost 5 years since that moment, which is just crazy because, that is a AAA development length. That is roughly the time it takes to just make a AAA game, especially for Nintendo. That's actually longer, I would say, than a lot of their other AAA efforts, although I guess Zelda would be the most comparable, and that does take 6 to 7 years at this point. And then in 2021, they said that development was progressing smoothly when they announced Metroid Dread, because, of course, you can't announce a new Metroid game without addressing the other one that you announced years prior. So when they announced Metroid Dread in 2021, they were like, okay, hey, look, it's still going. Don't worry about it. Retro's cooking. Let them cook. And that was actually the last time we heard anything. But then this year, in 2023, we got Metroid Prime Remastered, which was developed internally at Retro Studios. And this is something that I think is really kind of interesting and a little bit suspect. When they announced Metroid Dread, they had that whole thing saying, hey, they're working on it, don't worry. When they announced Metroid Prime Remastered, they just shoved it in the Nintendo Direct in February as a quick little headline. They shadow dropped the game to almost no fanfare. They didn't hype it up or anything. It wasn't a main headline. It was just one of the quick headlines in a Direct, which is very weird. It almost kind of felt like they just wanted to brush it aside real quick to avoid drawing any attention to Metroid Prime 4, which, you could look at that, you could analyze Nintendo marketing and think, okay, well, maybe that means it's coming to Switch 2 and they don't want to market it as a Switch 1 game. They don't want to mention it if they can avoid it. But I thought that was very weird. But I will say, since we got Metroid Prime Remastered in February of this year, I thought that meant, okay, we're locked and loaded. We're probably going to get a Prime 4 trailer at E3, or what would have been E3 in June 2023. And I also thought that would happen in September of 2023 in that Direct. And nothing. Zip. Nada. Nothing Metroid in either of those Nintendo Directs. People always kind of have this theory, and I'm just like that too, where if you're going to remake or remaster a game, you would think you would do that in the months leading up to the new game's release to kind of build excitement, build hype, and not just have it be completely separated from the launch timing of that game. People thought that's what would happen with Metroid Prime Trilogy when Emily Rogers reported that back in 2018, and that didn't happen. And then people also thought that would be the reason they released Bayonetta 1 and 2 when they did, because it would be close to the timing of Bayonetta 3, but as we know, that game came out 4.5 years after Bayonetta 1 and 2 came to Switch. So Prime Remastered coming out this year doesn't necessarily mean, oh, it was coming soon, but I definitely thought, oh, if they're going to release Prime Remastered now, especially because we know they were sitting on that game, based on job listing, we know that Metroid Prime Remastered finished development around, I think, September of 2021, so they sat on it for over a year, which is why they were able to shadow drop it in the way they did. They didn't announce it prior, they just released it on the eShop the day of the Direct. So I guess the question is, why did they release it when they did? What was the reasoning for releasing Metroid Prime Remastered randomly in February to no hype or fanfare? It was an extremely exciting moment. It was definitely the highlight of that Nintendo Direct, but why then? there has to be some sort of like marketing reason for them to have done it then and there. Because then, after releasing Prime Remastered, of course, assuming you have no insider information, we have heard rumors of Prime 2 and 3 being done by like another studio. But if you're just a Nintendo fan and you're looking at Prime Remastered coming out, and it's an incredible remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, you're going to want 2 and 3 to be done to a similar scale. But we know, with inside information that we've heard, that Prime 2 and 3 will not be done by Retro. If we get them at all, it will be outsourced to someone else. It probably will not be on the same scale of quality that Prime Remastered was. So you also have to assume those would come before Prime 4 is shown again. At least I would assume, or at least hope so. But maybe not. I don't know. And then we get to the thing I kind of teased at the top of the video. Now listen, I don't know if this is old information. I don't know. I can't confirm this information. However, I discovered something, or at least I think I discovered something, while making my Metroid Federation Force video, funnily enough. Go check out that video, it bombed. I'm looking at you guys. You need to go give that video some love. I was on the Nintendo Press website, and this is just a website where Nintendo has all of their art assets and press releases and like fact sheets and all that stuff. It's where I go, and you need to log in. It's where I go to download, you know, like PNG, nice high quality renders of like Mario from Mario Tennis to put in my Mario Tennis video or my thumbnail and that kind of stuff, right? But they also have press releases, fact sheets, all that fun stuff. After a direct, normally I go there just to see what kind of press assets they've uploaded, you know, get that nice, clean, transparent PNG of the logo, all of that stuff. And while I can't confirm that Metroid Prime 4 was ever on that website, I can certainly confirm that it is not currently on that website anymore. I've been using this website since like 2015, and once again, I have no proof of Metroid Prime 4 being there. Maybe someone watching this video will know for sure. I've asked a couple people behind the scenes, they didn't know either. I'm pretty sure it was there, because there are Metroid Prime 4 fact sheets released by Nintendo. Go Nintendo's posted them, that's where I found this image right here. And that lines up exactly with, for example, this Metroid Prime Federation Force fact sheet that I found through the Nintendo Press website. So, to me, it looks like they removed Metroid Prime 4 from this website. Even something like Bayonetta 3 was on this website before Bayonetta 3 got its re-reveal back in 2021. So, to me, while I can't 100% confirm it, it definitely looks like Metroid Prime 4 was completely wiped from this Nintendo Press website, which is just very interesting, and I think telling about maybe it is going to be moved completely to Switch 2. I don't want to think that they would do that. I think they probably would keep it on the Switch 1, stay true to their word, especially because, I mean, they already like had that formal video announcing they're going to restart development, so I feel like they would want to at least give it to Switch 1 owners, but maybe they'll just move it to Switch 2. I don't know. Once again, that's all like just conjecture, and I don't fully know if it's real. I don't know if Metroid Prime 4 actually was concretely on this website beforehand, but based on the fact that I found this fact sheet from Metroid Prime 4 E3 2017, based on the fact that I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it on the website, I don't know. Something weird's going on with this game, and I'm very curious to see what happens in the future. You know, I guess at this point, people are kind of looking towards the Game Awards. Maybe it'll show up there. That'd be the right audience for it, perhaps. The kind of like that Western gaming audience. Having a big trailer for Metroid Prime 4 there would be very exciting. A lot of people think they might just save it for the Switch 2 reveal event early next year. That is also possible. I just don't know anymore, man. I've predicted Metroid Prime 4 for so many years that if this game was coming out in the first half of 2024, I'd believe you. If it was coming out in 2027, I would believe you. I genuinely don't know what to believe when it comes to Metroid Prime 4. Is it a Switch 1 game, Switch 2 game? I mean, Retro Studios hasn't released a game since Tropical Freeze. All they've done with this entire Switch generation, mind you, the Switch generation that is, I would argue, Nintendo's most successful era, not just in terms of like revenue and all that, but just in terms of creativity and output from their first-party teams. Retro has only released a Tropical Freeze, again, and a remaster, a great remaster of Metroid Prime. They've done a lot of hiring, and they've gotten a lot of talent from other studios, but they also lost a lot of people. Most of the original team that made Metroid Prime isn't at Retro anymore, so I have to question the chops there a little bit. Are they even capable of making a Metroid Prime 4 that would live up to the expectations that people have of the first 3 games? So I don't want to say this game is in development hell, necessarily. I mean, like I said, 5 years is a perfectly reasonable amount of time to make a AAA game from scratch if they really did start in January of 2019, although it was probably late 2018. Plus, in the midst of that, they did make Metroid Prime Remastered, which certainly didn't take no resources, but the longer we go without seeing it, the more I question, is Retro, are they good? Are they doing good over there? It's just a kind of crummy situation. Nintendo definitely regrets announcing this game. It is interesting to think back to that E3 where they announced Yoshi without a title. They announced Kirby Star Allies without a title. They just had Ishihara at a desk, and he just was like, "Hey, Pokemon's gonna come to Switch. Get excited, guys." And then alongside that trio of announcements, we got the confirmation of Metroid Prime 4 with this just CGI logo, which is just not something Nintendo ever really does anymore. I guess we kind of got something like that with Animal Crossing in 2018, but regardless, Metroid Prime 4 is a very curious case at this point. I want to see the game. I want to know what's going on with it. I imagine when it is fully re-revealed, whether it's a Switch 1 game or a Switch 2 game, it is going to blow our socks off. It will be the best looking Switch 1 game. I think that's a safe assumption considering how dang good Metroid Prime Remastered looks. And if it is a Switch 2 game, then I imagine it'll be the premier showcase for the Switch 2 in terms of graphics. Because, I mean, Retro, if nothing else, we know for sure right now they are very capable of making a game look very, very good. I just maybe kind of question their current ability to create something entirely new on their own, given their current staffing. But we'll have to wait and see. I think, I mean, I want to say in the next 18 months or so, we should certainly be seeing this game again. I do think when we see it again, they will have a release date. They will have probably a release date within 4 or 5 months of when they show it again. That's what I would like to hope. That's how Nintendo typically operates nowadays. Like Metroid Dread, for example, was announced in June, released in October. I think it'll be a similar situation there. Maybe June Direct 2024. They show it off, and then we get it released in October, mirroring Metroid Dread, mirroring Metroid Samus Returns. But man, I just hope, you know, Retro is taking their time. There's not actual issues. They're just taking their time and cooking it to perfection. I made that video a few weeks ago saying Nintendo doesn't miss with Mario, with Zelda, you know, these premier Nintendo franchises, Splatoon, Animal Crossing. I guess that's a little bit more arguable. I know some people don't love New Horizons, Xenoblade, like most of their premier franchises really are at the pinnacle of their success, and I want to see Retro do that for Metroid. Because unfortunately, the way they announced it, this game has been built up so much in people's minds, if it's anything less than a 10, or at least a 9.5, if it's anything less than just as good as Metroid Prime on the GameCube, people will be disappointed. So with all of that said, let me know what you think in the comments down below. When do you think we will see Metroid Prime 4 again? Do you think they're saving it for the Switch 2? Do you think it's just a matter of it wasn't ready yet, so they didn't show it, so maybe they'll show it in the February Direct or the June Direct next year? Maybe it's a Switch 1 game still. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news, coverage, reviews, all of that fun stuff. And until next time, folks, peace!